Today we begin our continuing look at the greatest artists of all time. Back in 2004, 50 years after Elvis walked into Sun Studios and cut That's All Right, the Rolling Stone magazine celebrated rock and roll's first half-century in grand style. They assembled a panel of 55 top musicians, writers, and industry executives and asked them to pick the most influential artists of the rock and roll era. The resulting list of 100 artists was published in 2 issues of Rolling Stone in 2004 and 2005. It was updated in 2011. It's a broad survey of rock history, spanning from the 60s heroes of the Beatles and the modern insurgents of Eminem, and, of course, early pioneers like Chuck Berry, and, of course, the bluesmen who made it all possible, like Howlin' Wolf. The essays about these top 100 artists are written by their peers, the singers, the producers, and the musicians. Let's begin. At number 100 of the greatest artists of all time, the Talking Heads. The article is written by Dave Sitek. He said, "When I was a kid, I was really into hardcore punk. Hardcore was very rigid. Talking Heads was the first band that I remember telling my punk friends about, saying, 'Yo, check this out. This 4-chord thing we're doing, we're missing out on something.' The first song I really liked was Once in a Lifetime. MTV had just started to sink its claws into people, and that song was like an anthem for coked-up adults trying to make sense of their world. Remain in Light was this combination of ambient music and strong lyrics and incredibly inventive percussion and bass parts. I was a kid, but I still thought I should have been involved in that record. It's amazing. They had so many things going on. If you listen to a Talking Heads bass line, you think the song's going one way, and then you listen to the drums and you think it's going to go a different way. Then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, this is a completely different song from what I thought it was going to be. And then the guitars come in, and then the ambiance comes in. It's like several songs all blending into one. Dave Sitek said that he grew up in a town called Columbia in Maryland. It was a planned community with man lakes, and David Byrne's parents lived there for a while. It presented this facade that everything around us is solid and real and going to be here forever, even though we know we created it. Byrne's lyrics spoke to the artifice of the American landscape. The American dream has a lot of back alleys, and he was showing those things, and I felt like, here's a guy trying to talk to me about something I'd seen firsthand. I think the artist's primary responsibility is to reflect what life was like in their time, and the Talking Heads did that. I'm all over the map emotionally and spiritually, like most people are, so different Talking Heads records speak to me at different times. But with Remain in Light and Fear of Music, the grid of modern living is there. What they're addressing still applies. They weren't always complex either. There's some stuff where it's just bare-bones essentials. This Must Be the Place is probably one of the most important songs in my entire life. I find the lyrics really calming. The song is simple, but when you look at all the elements and how they're put together and where the downbeat is, it's kind of, well, clever is not even really the word. Genius, maybe. Now, this article, written by American musician, guitarist, and record producer, best known as a member of the band TV on the Radio. It's David Andrew Sitek, and this article was in the Rolling Stone magazine as they were counting down the 100 greatest artists of all time. So we begin with This Must Be the Place and the Talking Heads.